So welcome to episode number 3 of the best smartphones you've never heard of, a series where I find some amazing phones from slightly lesser known companies and then we give them a whirl myself. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoy the video, and let's get started. So the phone in question is the Umi Max, and what the company's done here is basically taken their flagship Umi superphone, downgraded it a tiny bit, and then sold it at a much cheaper price. So as you'd expect then, it's got the build quality of a much more premium device. It's got smooth metal all the way around, and some beautiful chamfered edges. It's not the thinnest or the lightest phone, but it feels premium, far more premium than the price would suggest, and it looks great too. And it's a bit worrying that this is becoming somewhat of a tradition, but I managed to drop the phone 3 times during the process of this review. And guess what? Not a scratch. The camera has a 13 megapixel sensor, this time manufactured by Panasonic, and it was surprisingly good. There's plenty of detail on there, it's pretty much pushing those 13 to the max, and it even handles HDR scenarios quite well. Yeah, the colours are a little bit washed out, the photos lack a bit of vibrancy, but that can always be tweaked. The good thing is that it actually handles shadow and light at the same time quite well. On the downside, the shutter speed is not the fastest, so if you don't hold the phone still, you'll get this really odd looking blur effect. The screen is great. It's a 2.5D curved, 5.5-inch 1080p panel. Apologies if that was a mouthful. The screen is also, which is quite nice to see, fingerprint and scratch resistant. It's bright too, but unfortunately just has a little bit too much glare, which makes it quite difficult to see in broad daylight, but everywhere else it's perfect. Internally, the Umi Max is not a slouch in the slightest. We've got the Helio P10, combined with 3GB of RAM and Samsung's latest and greatest flash storage. What this means is you'll get a pretty much slick 60 frames per second performance on every game, apart from the most demanding ones. Games like Modern Combat and Suicide Squad, they don't run badly, but they're just not quite maxed out. Flicking through the UI, not even a hitch. And speaking of the UI, it's great, I loved it. On the software side of things, we're basically running stock Android 6.0. Which admittedly is not the latest version, but the thing is there's just nothing else on here. It feels almost like a Nexus device, which is awesome. On top of that, they basically bundled in nothing. I had really high hopes for the speaker. I thought maybe this could be the point where they complete an almost perfect device, but unfortunately it just doesn't quite have the volume or the bass that I was wanting. It's not terrible though. On the left we've got a dual SIM card slot, and if you want you can replace one of those SIM cards with a microSD card up to 128 gigs, which complements the already 16 gigabytes inside of it. I was really impressed with the fingerprint scanner. It's using 2nd generation technology and has a really fast unlock time, but also it's slightly recessed, which means you can feel around and know exactly where it is. One thing I would say is the company's not exactly done an amazing job hiding the antennae. They kind of go all the way around the phone. On the bright side, the LED notification is awesome. It can be changed to any color to match the notification you're given. But weirdly it's placed on the bottom of the phone. I kept thinking it was the home button. To end on a bit of a high, the battery life is awesome. At 4000 mAh, you can easily push yourself into the second day. I was finding if I was conservative, I was getting 2 days of full usage, which is amazing. So there we go guys, that is the Umi Max. It's not perfect, the speaker could be better, it could have more inbuilt storage, but overall, as a phone, as a complete all-in-one entertainment package, I've seen very few smartphones come close. A combination of the slick software, powerful processor and great screen make this a formidable smartphone. I'm Mrwhosetheboss, and I'm signing out.